Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi. Hari ini kami dari kelompok 2 akan mempresentasikan hasil kerja dari kelompok kami, yaitu membahas tentang materi bab 3 dan bab 4. Pertama, saya akan mengenalkan anggota dari kelompok ini, yaitu ada saya sendiri, Denisa Aprilia Putri, kemudian ada Reka Melinda, kemudian ada Raudatul Janah, kemudian ada Nisa Solihah, ada Mimi Chandrika, dan ada Bayu. Yang pertama akan membahas tentang raut kultural geografi yang akan dibacakan oleh saya sendiri. Raut cultural geography. Raut living throughout Western Nepal and India are not as homogeneous as one might expect. True, they have many common elements in their language, cultural practice, and religious idea. Lexical comparison of routes and Banrajis living in the Partons, Western Eastern regions, for example, continue to share about 80% of the same words and almost 100% of grammar, but things slowly change, and the various bands of foreigners are affected by the different laws and political events of India and Nepal. And the second is UR route. UR the route. Anthropologists find classification according to substances types helpful for a variety of reasons and often classify societies into food collectors, hunting, gathering, fishing, food producer, horticulturists, pastoralists, agriculturists. They will tour river for routes by their from substances as hunter-gatherers or foragers. This basic substances orientation would then be used as a mean of cultural comparison with other food collectors such as the South African Bushmen, Central African forest people, South Asian forests, the Birhar of India. When the classification hunter-gatherings does fit the routes, one conception of themselves, for they refer to themselves as Xiaola, which literally means hunters. And if asked by farmers if they would like to take a farming, routes will reply, no, because we hunt monkey. They also smaller group, they catch less prey per hunter, and they share favor for tions with others. Their hunting technologies are associated with an overall social organization that is more individualistic than those of the more communal routes. And the third is a conjectured history. Yang selanjutnya akan dibacakan oleh Mimi.
Conjecture history. Routes have no written history and claim to be unaware of their ancestral heritage more than 4 generations back. As one person noted, after about 3 generations, we don't remember the names. They go to the skies and there they live. They are like air. This also explains why Rhodes' elders are irritated when people ask them about their origins. They do not know how such histories and so feel that such questions are irrelevant. Brahmin scholars to have neglected to record the ethnic histories of other local commoners. Traditional Nepalese histories contain information about royal legions, taxes, land grants, and astrological charts, but no such ethnic histories, like the histories of tailors, ironsmiths, and small-scale farmers. Road ethnic history must rely on clues gathered from oral history, stories, language, and other sparse research writings. Are the roads a distinct ethnic group or a fringe of the larger society? One of the questions surrounding hunter-gatherer population worldwide is whether a society of hunter-gatherers can be described as having their own ethnic identity, or whether they are part of the linguistic and economic underclass of the society. socially. This question involves issue of origins, kinship, and alliance with other social groups, whether small societies or forages are indeed. Thank you. Next is world social status in Nepal.
And the next will be read by Raudatul Jannah about route social status in Nepal and national identity. Jannah, silahkan. Nyalain dulu speakernya, Mbak.
Iya. Ya. Road social status Nepal. It is notable that roads say they do not know the origins of their own people. Instead, stories are passed down from generation to generation, not histories, but oral tales that signify bits of road experience. For example, when I encourage people to recall stories about the origin of road people, they would remember things their grandparents had told them. Women collecting yams, for example, talk about their origins in relationship to food, noting that good made the water and yams before she made human. As one woman, Dana Devi, remarked, good sun gave water and then the yams came. God first made the yams grow and afterwards secrets humans so we could have food to eat because what else would we eat? This snip of a story highlights Roth's emphasis upon good water and wild yams as important subsistence staples. In fact, even water is called food. Water is something consumed like food, and it is nourishing and can taste either good or bad. When rods migrate to a new forest patch during the end of would camp in the place they called the place with water that is good food. Are Rauch citizen of Nepal? What does it mean to be Nepal's? Does it mean speaking Nepali, the national language that one's father is a Nepal's citizen? Does it mean living within the modern nation-state of Nepal, carrying an act? Does it tax to the government of Nepal? Does it involve a primordial feeling of attachment to the homeland of Nepal? Must one have a of loyalty to the government? These are all important questions, the answer to which will enable us to understand Rhodes' identity in relationship to their surrounding farming community.
And the next will be read by Nisau Solihah about the politic of identity, and silakan Nisa, bisa dibaca.
Okay, then the politics of identity. After years of being compared to the sophisticated urban Nepalese and Indians, rural peasants are ashamed of their lifestyle and eager to exchange their own self-projection and social self-projection of previous generation. The superior form of consciousness is made up of many illusions, pretensions, and beautiful projection. Believing in someone's condition that is more modern than previous generation is a form of historical and ignorant thinking. Some of the most important political behavior required among foraging population are found not among the farming community, but in routers' decision about hunting, sharing, and associating with over. The various political attitude in router society itself provides many things to consider and learn from the route to the success of the foraging lifestyle. It is these inner political behaviors that are imitated by the youth, not the political machines of the surrounding pleasant communities. Routers want to remain persistent men, natives of Western Nepal, and each camp move bring new challenges in many identity ethnic growth. Then, forest as home. Truth we see the same word. Gak tahu. Forest as home. Truth we see the same word. We see it through different eyes. It says by Virginia Woolf to the lighthouse. Then, Main Bahadur Road says, the forest is where God's of children is life. And Bahadur Road walked to the edge of the road, forest camp, and sat beside me and Parkas, and social villager from Jajarkot district. I'm going to ask the question asked by all the villagers who settled on him. Why do you live in the forest instead of in the village? This question has high moral weight because every Hindu knows that life in the forest is primitive, but can also inspire forest dwellers in moral excellence, and exclaimed, "My heart was left right here in the forest." Since the time of our interaction, it has been like today. The forest is fine, sweet potatoes are still easy to dig. But before we start a longer discussion, a helicopter flies overhead. For routers, the forest is not a wild place, even though it is full of animals and a few people. In contrast, the jungle world is inhabited by tigers, bears, deer, monkey, birds, small trees, sweet potatoes, rocks, and other living things. This is where God's children live. According to routers, and it represents domestic space. The basic of cultural hegemony over nature ultimately stems from a philosophical balance found in one of the many schools in Indian truth known as Sankhya tradition. These places have polysemic meanings for different users because in the end, the forest is the physical entity that we are. Now is that a symbolic and cultural space. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. And the next will be read by Reka Melinda. Silakan, Reka.
Hindu householders' profession of forest. Despite the fact that most of the forests in Nepal are owned by the government, many homeowners express a sense of ownership and control over the forest around their village. There are currently 6 types of forest ownership and tenure in Nepal: private forest, community forest, government managed forest, religious forest, private forest, and protected forest.
For many Hindu villages, the entire Navalis landscape is one in which the social construction of nature is fully interwoven with cosmological ideas of divine grace and worth. Most Nepalese Hindus also believe that the forest is sacred and is even associated with feelings of femininity, nurture, and sexuality based one gender. As Linda Iltis, 1994, and 349 note, the goddess, known as Swastani, whose name means one's dwelling place, was a Himalayan goddess. However, although nature and forests are romanticized by the village, ironically they are also cultural pursuits as you see village and for humans habitation in their original condition. Forests might be considered sacred due to their existence as part of the earth, but are simultaneously acknowledged as profound space due to a life of culture. Rotus forest dweller. We could begin our effort to understand the Rots consular view of the forest by studying their etonym and exonym, or the names they ask to describe themselves versus the names outsiders use to describe them. The villagers call nobodies Rotus the exonym Jangali, forest people, and Banmanu, forest people, because this name evokes the feeling of these people with an uncivilized. However, linguistic evidence suggests that Rotus were a Tibetan-speaking people and perhaps ever earlier as Austro-Asiatic or Dravidian speaker, who had been observed into the Hindu social caste system, a third way in which the Routes describe themselves in relation to the forest is a part of the accepted family of God. Routes discusses the forest roles of the sun, moon, star, and other supernatural non-human beings who are part of their excited family. Man Bahadur, for example, states that the sun, known as bird, symbolizes their father, and the moon, Berha, or Berha, their mother. So when the Routes say they are children of God, they are referring to the creation of the world by bird or Berha as a creator God. Thank you.
Kayak mana nah, Bayu kan mau mau masuk, cuman dia nggak bisa soalnya kendala jaringan, kasihan will. Bayu. Dah, terus langsung penutupan. Okay, that's all from our thank you for your watching our presentation video, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.